Hi everyone, I'm Summer with My Simply Perfect Events. First, I want to congratulate you on your engagement. This is such an exciting time in your life, and you don't want to be stressed out, but you probably totally are. So, I want to give you some steps to take and some helpful hints and some tips to hopefully alleviate some of that stress. So, the first thing is pick a date or two. The reason why I say a date or two is because you need to have some flexibility. Sometimes the venue that you want may not be available on the date that you want. Are you going to add an extra year onto your engagement just so that you can get married on that date? Probably not. Also, a lot of venues are less expensive on a Friday or a Sunday. If it doesn't fall exactly on your date, you may be spending thousands of dollars extra just to get married on a Saturday on your date, okay? The second thing is make a budget. So you're not going to know exactly what weddings cost. Of course, where I come from, like 30,000 is 30,000, okay? So if your budget's 30,000, but you have a little bit of wiggle room, add that to your budget, okay? So the budget is going to determine almost everything. That lets you know if you can afford to get married at a certain venue. If you want to have a destination wedding, it's going to let you know how many people you can invite to your wedding, the type of food that you can have, everything, okay? And it just gives you a starting point because you have to have a place to land on. You have to have a foundation. For you guys to kind of go back to, and just rather than saying, a lot of people like to say like, oh, there's no budget. Everyone has a budget, okay? Even if your budget's $200,000, that's your budget, okay? The third thing, hire a wedding planner. I cannot tell you how frustrating and ultimately tragic it is when people say, oh, my best friend's a wedding planner. Not a wedding planner, or does events, or my aunt does events, or, oh, I've taken care of so much already, I don't really need the help and all that. Listen, okay, you're going to need a professional. You need someone who has relationships with these vendors, who has worked with these vendors, who has experience, okay? Again, a lot of people don't know that weddings are less expensive on a Friday or a Sunday, and you may think that somebody's Instagram page looks amazing, but they're horrible to work with. Get a wedding planner, suck it up, move on, okay? Make your guest list. Now, I cannot stress this enough. Your guest list is going to determine where your money goes. Okay, try to follow me. If you have 250 guests, that's where most of your money is going. It's going into feeding people. Okay, so obviously you have to have the tables, and the tables will come from your venue, but you have to have linens, like the tablecloths. If you're not in the wedding world, linens don't make sense to people. Anyway, you're going to have centerpieces. It's just the amount of guests that you have, that's going to take up a huge part of your budget. Now, this is how I tell my clients to make their list. Okay, the first list, that's list B, okay? You're on a sinking ship. And there are some life rafts. Okay, so you have a life raft, you have a lifeboat. That's mom, dad, grandma, brother, sister, cousins that you talk to every day. Okay, that's list A. Okay, list B. Oh, look, we have a little bit of extra room in our lifeboat. Okay, we have some extra room. That's for the friends that maybe you haven't seen in a while, but you really, really love, and you're like, I have some room for them at my wedding, List C. That's like the obligation. Those are like the obligatory people. Those are the people who you're like, like maybe your boss or something like that, okay? If you are sitting at dinner, let's say you and your fiance are sitting at dinner with this couple, okay? And this is like a list C couple. This is like, all right, I got a little bit of extra room. This is like the bosses. This is maybe your coworker, unless your coworkers are your best friends, obviously, but this is for the people who you have a little bit of extra room for. If you're sitting at dinner with them, okay, and the bill comes and it's $150 per person, are you just going to easily pick up the check and not even think about it? Oh, I got it. Don't worry about it. That's how you need to think about this, okay? That's how you really need to approach your guest list, because that's essentially what you're doing. You're paying for their alcohol, you're paying for this, you're paying for that, whatever, okay? So the other thing is, and my last final tip is designate a wedding-free zone, okay? If you're like, every Sunday, I want to watch football, or every Sunday, I want to kick it with my friends, I want to hang out, I want to have a good time, I don't want to talk about the wedding, because weddings are stressful. Even if you have a wedding planner, sometimes they're just stressful. Designate a time so that every time you guys are around each other, you're not talking about a wedding detail. A lot of people start fighting during their engagement. I know it sounds weird, but people start fighting during their engagement because, again, so many things are changing and you have this huge commitment, and of course you're excited about the commitment, but everything turns into wedding talk and wedding conversation. Nobody wants to talk about weddings all day. I'm a wedding planner and I don't want to talk about weddings all day. So designate a time. What if you say 9 o'clock? We don't talk about the wedding after 9. If there is not discipline, you need to designate that, okay? So once again, I am going to add a link to a blog that I wrote for the Huffington Post about this, okay, so that you guys can have, something in writing for you to look at. But it's very, very important that you take these steps. You don't want to just jump into your engagement period blindly, okay? Once again, I'm Summer, my Simply Perfect Events. Good luck.